Hi, this is Ms. Bouchard from PS11, and today I'm going to teach you how to use examples as a strategy to elaborate when creating an informational piece of writing.
So, what is elaboration? Elaboration is the process of providing a more in-depth description of a topic. There's many ways that you can elaborate, but today we're going to be focusing on examples. So when it comes to examples, we're thinking about pieces of evidence that better illustrate what we're trying to say. So the first thing I need to do is review my plans for my informational book. And on my planning for my new topic page, you can see here I have a table of contents, and this lists all the chapters for training for marathons. Today I'm going to be zooming into one particular chapter and focusing on what part of that chapter I'm going to elaborate. So today I'm going to be taking a close look at gear needed to prepare. So now I'm going to zoom into this particular chapter, gear needed to prepare for a marathon. And when I flip to this section of my writing notebook, you can see that I've created a mini table of contents, and this organizes all the different parts within this chapter. So this is a list of all the different subtopics within gear that I want to cover, like what kind of clothing is appropriate for training, what shoes are most comfortable for long runs, what kind of nutrition will I need, and if I'm in pain, which sometimes happens when you're training for some good pain relief for that. So of these subtopics, I'm going to be picking one to zoom into in particular today. And I'm going to be focusing today on clothing and what kind of clothing is appropriate for my training. So as I mentioned earlier, the type of elaboration strategy that I'm going to be practicing today is using examples as a way to add to my idea and write a little bit more about that idea. So there's many different ways that I can use examples to support my work. And remember, an example is a piece of evidence that best illustrates what I'm trying to say. So one type of example is creating a list, listing samples of things that I might be familiar with that I've used in my marathon training. Another type of example is a vocabulary word that also supports the idea that I'm trying to show. In this case, I'm using gear. A third type of example that I might use is a category. So in this particular chapter, I'm going to be discussing clothing that works and is important for marathon training, different shoes that provide the best support, as well as food and nutrition. A fourth one is descriptions. So I could use a phrase like sweat-wicking fabric to best describe how a shirt might feel for a long run. Finally, the last description that I might use, or the final example that would best fit this work, is a personal experience or observation. And by pulling from my own experiences, I'm better supporting the content and showing my expertise in that area.
First, I'm going to start with a leading sentence that explains why that gear is important. Then I'm going to create a list that lists some possible examples of brands that I've used in the past or brands other marathoners have used. I'm then going to follow up with a personal experience to elaborate further.
So now when I put all of this together, you can see that I've created a clear paragraph with several different examples. You can see the examples of me listing types of gear, and you can also see the example of me using a personal experience to better support that there's different types of gear out there. So remember, when elaborating, it's the process of providing a more in-depth description of a topic, and the strategy that I've taught you today to help elaborate is to use different examples. So the next time that you go off to write an informational writing piece, try using lists, vocabulary words, categories, descriptions, or personal experiences and observations to better support your topic.